Active cyclone has made landfall in Australia overnight.
Today I announce that referendum day will be the 14th of October.
Write the Matildas into history.
Now, the woman who cooked a mushroom lunch that killed 3 people and...
I want to say that while tonight's result is not one that I had hoped for.
She goes, Pat Cummins, up she goes.
2023 has been a tough year for Australians. We've had some ups, but we've had some downs as well. What with the cost of living crisis and politicians seemingly doing fuck all about it, it's been a tough year for Australians. But fortunately, Australians are tough. We're resilient. We're like a young boy's penis in PE. We're hard to keep down. So let's have a look back at Australia's 2023. The year began rough for those in the Kimberleys and northwestern Australia as they were hit by Cyclone Ellie and experienced monumental flooding, and the year ended just as rough for far north Queensland when they were hit by Cyclone Jasper. But neither of these compared to the nationwide flooding that was experienced as 7 million Australians cheered on their favourite band of lesbians, the Matildas, as they finished 4th in the Women's World Cup, which garnered talks of them getting their own bronze statue. Speaking of statues, Dictator Dan passed 3,000 days in public office, an achievement which entitles him to a bronze statue. But when you consider the condition he left his beloved state in and just massive amounts of debt, so much so they had to renege on hosting the Commonwealth Games, well, I'd say if someone just took a rogue dog shit and modelled it into a silhouette of a man, that would more than suffice for old Dictator Dan. But he wouldn't be the last premier to resign either. Mark McGowan stood down, and so did Anastasia Palaszczuk, whatever the fuck her name is, and that would be the last of the COVID premiers out of power. Meanwhile, in New South Wales, Labor broke a 12-year drought when Chris Minns won the state election over Dominic Perrottet, mainly because photos surfaced of Perrottet dressed as a Nazi at his 21st birthday. Earlier this year, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced plans to hold a referendum for a voice to Parliament for Indigenous Australians, and then he went and spent some time in the communities that the voice would help, communities like Alice Springs. However, his frequent flyer points must have been expiring soon because he only spent about 4 hours there before old Airbus Alwo fucked off overseas. Maybe he had to go see Bong Bong Marcos, the Philippines Prime Minister. Seriously, look him up. But either way, he had somewhere he had to be. But it wasn't just state premiers that we lost this year. Buddy Franklin and Kochie retired, and Australia lost 2 of our greatest sex offenders with the deaths of George Pell and Rolf Harris. Optus CEO Kelly Bayer Rosmarin steps down after Optus experienced nationwide blackouts which fucked over so many people, and Qantas CEO Alan Joyce steps down after getting questioned on Qantas's insane profits while we're in a cost of living crisis. A cost of living crisis that saw interest rates rise to 4.1%, the highest in 11 years, leaving Australians feeling more hard done than one of George Pell's altar boys. Coles and Woolies also decided to lay the boot into the average Australian as they recorded record profits this year.
That's a bloody outrage, it is!
However, they also posted record losses to shoplifting.
Yeah, boy.
Good on you, Australia. But what was their solution to stop shoplifting? Install glass security gates and wheels that lock up on trolleys if they get too far away. Which just goes to show, Coles and Woolworths will do anything to stop shoplifting, except lower the prices to an affordable amount. Speaking of money though, the Mint also reveals the design of the new coins featuring King Charles III, who also celebrates his coronation in May. Meanwhile, in Australia, a 95-year-old dementia patient who's just 5 years away from getting a letter from the King himself is tasered to death in the town of Cooma. In other bizarre deaths, a man is killed outside of Sydney when his boat allegedly hits a whale, with police still investigating Clive Palmer's whereabouts at the time. Also, a mother kills her entire family when she feeds them a poisonous beef Wellington. Australia also tightened up our defence this year when we bought 3 nuclear subs. That's right, count them, 3, run at us China. And our Air Force paid a touching tribute to the late great Kobe Bryant, retiring the Taipan helicopter after they had multiple crashes, claiming the lives of 4 people and changing the name of the aircraft officially to Mambas. On Sport Now in 2023 was a great year for Australians. The Dolphins entered the NRL as the 17th team, the women's cricket team won the T20 World Cup, and the men's cricket team won the 50 over World Cup in what would have been the greatest win by an Australian team if it wasn't for the Penrith Panthers. That's right, the Panthers won their 3rd straight NRL premiership when they beat the Brisbane Broncos, thanks to the heroic solo efforts of Nathan Cleary, the chin that just continues to win, leaving New South Wales fans optimistic that he can conquer the final frontier and step up next year for the New South Wales Blues and become the origin player we all know he can be. Also, Queensland won State of Origin this year. Australia also retained the Ashes after England's non-stop crying about their lack of understanding on how the pitch works rained out the fourth test. Collingwood Magpies won the AFL Grand Final and Shane Van Gisbergen won his third Bathurst. And speaking of great Australian victories, the Voice referendum was defeated in every state, receiving 60% votes for no. In economic news, China finally dropped its barley tariff on us, and in entertainment news, popular kids cartoon Bluey receives the TCS Award for Outstanding Achievement in Children's Television, despite the fact that it got heavily criticised for fat shaming when the dad dog wanted to lose weight by exercising. Ooh. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, there's our 2023 in a nutshell. If there's something I forgot, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know how your year's been. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button. As for me, ladies and gentlemen, 2023 has been a great year, and I appreciate the support of everyone, whether you're following me on here or any of my other socials. But as we power into 2024, know this, ladies and gentlemen, squirt is piss, don't let them fool you, stay hard.